with the WWDC, the latest kind of invite that went out does have some MacBook Pros there, which kind of gives a hint of what we might see. So we do have some information here from Mark Gurman on Bloomberg, and it says that Apple does plan to launch the redesigned MacBook Pros in 14-inch, codenamed J314, and 16-inch, codenamed J316. I mean, those code names don't really matter, but I just thought I'd just put them out there. So we're likely to have a redesigned chassis, magnetic MagSafe charger. So this looks like another direction that Apple's taking, just having that MagSafe connectivity across the board. More ports on the new M1X MacBook Pro. So it's likely to also have it in an HDMI port as well as an SD card slot. Now, we've talked about this before, but I'm super excited about the SD card slot coming back. So, and it all almost looks like a U-turn from Apple, because they went for this sort of very minimal ports, just USB-C. But if they're kind of bringing those back, I do like that new direction from Apple, because it kind of says that, okay, we're listening to what you guys want. Like they went back to the scissor switches, and they are not like just kind of putting it out there and just get used to it sort of thing. So I do appreciate that for sure.
I definitely like this idea of what Apple is doing this year, because if they're bringing back the SD card slot, it means that they've at least acknowledged that they made a mistake. I know you're saying they listened to me. I call it they made a mistake. But it's the idea that at least they know that, hey, look, if we want to win this year, which is what we're already doing, we should deliver the things that people want, right? Yep. Even something like the iPad Pro, which is a very pro user device. You throw the M1 in there, it now tells a pro, look, I know you didn't really ask for this, but this is what you want, because it gives you more power, it gives you more performance, gives you everything you need. Same thing with even the AirTags per se, right? And with that, just because I remember Danny just dropped a video this week, Danny Wingett, and I looked at that and I remember when Samsung made that announcement. This is, to me, Samsung made a really solid product, at least from his video too. But it's the way Apple delivered its own product out, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, I need AirTags. I need to find my keys and stuff like that, out there." So I think they're on a very smart roll this year, and I think the execs and the design team is thinking better. Maybe not so much with those white borders around the iMac, but
well,
I think
it's funny because those borders, it's so interesting to read the comments on my video, because a lot of people actually like the borders. And one thing Dave 2D mentioned, which was quite interesting, was that what this device is kind of meant to be, and it's supposed to be the home. It's not supposed to be for pro users, although you can get away with some pro tasks, understandably. It's supposed to be something that kind of sits in your home, and most people's walls are white, okay, or a very light color. So then when you've got this, that's sitting in your living room where the background is also white, then it actually blends in a little bit more compared to if it was black, depending on the content that you're viewing, of course. Obviously, if you're viewing black content, so it's quite interesting how there's been a bit of a different view based on who it is.
Look, I'm sorry, Dave 2D, man. I don't know you personally, but that's just too much overthinking. I can't buy it. I just call it. I'll call it an aesthetic choice the design team made. Me personally, I don't like that aesthetic choice. Okay. I think just because TVs, especially in the home, TVs are also thinner borders, very picturesque. And I think the home now is more picturesque. We're especially with those pastel colors that most people have at home. So,
but again, you think, and this is what I think, and this is what half the comments on my YouTube video think. But then the other half are like, actually, it looks really good, especially with the silver. So again, obviously, we don't speak for everybody collectively.
Everybody, yes.
I still go for black bezels, and that's something that I said in my video, and I would continue to say that for me, black bezels are what it should be, but. Hey, it is what it is. Each to their own. Now, the MacBook Pro, going back to that, so it is likely to have the M1X, which will have 8 high-performance cores, 2 energy-efficient cores. That will give it a total of 10, and it will have either 16 or 32 graphics cores, with 64 gigabytes of memory versus currently the M1, the current M1 can only do up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, right? So with this, you will have the option of having, way more RAM, which completely makes sense for the MacBook Pro. Some hints are suggesting that we might be seeing something at least of the MacBook Pros at WWDC. I do think that the M1 MacBook, the Mac Mini M1 will be at a later point because we've just seen the other one recently. So I think it's still early days for that. But the MacBook Pro 16-inch, I think, is around the corner. So let's see. I hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to hear the full podcast episode, then that will be linked down below. And if you want to see more clips like this, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss them. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf Speaks, and I'll see you next time.